So just relax the body by focusing on the breath. And notice how the body has its own natural rhythms. And then from there, elongate the exhalation breath. And you'll feel your body relax even more. And just do a few rounds of that. Elongate the exhalation breath for as long as you can comfortably. So you shouldn't be gasping or gulping for air on the inhale. That slows the heart rate down, regulates the CO2 levels in the body, and reduces your anxiety. And then from there, ask yourself, where do I feel any tension in the body? Or am I feeling like my person, my sense of me is stressed out? Where in the body is that? In your back, in your neck, your shoulders? You have a headache, sometimes several places. And just notice that. Keep the breath nice and slow. And then from there, just focus on relaxing the entire body. Imagine that your tension and stress is like water draining the bathtub very slowly, and it's just draining from the top of your head down the bottom of your feet. And with each exhalation breath, your stress and tension drains even more. Okay, so hopefully your body is more relaxed than earlier, yes? Okay, so from here, we will access the peaceful presence of universal energy. So again, universal energy is appearing as everything. It is everything. There is only this. So there are no really separate objects. We are just accessing one aspect of it, the peaceful presence aspect. And all we're doing here is accessing the energy that makes everything exist, the energy of existence itself, which some have called God. God is that which makes everything exist. Universal energy is the same, it's just a different name. And so the easiest way to access this presence of existence is to do the opposite. So mentally, not physically, mentally, try not existing right now. Really make an effort mentally, not physically. I don't want to get in trouble here, to not exist. Because the more you make an effort mentally, the more you immediately come face to face with the presence of your own existence. And in the human body, this feels like this still, silent, peaceful, energetic presence that when you close your eyes, you feel it in your heart and in your consciousness. But when you open your eyes, or when you relax your focus, you sense that it is all around as well. It is not just in your body. So this is the feeling of the life force that makes you exist, the life force of you in the body. But when you relax the focus, it is intuited or experienced or realized that it is also all around you as well. It is in the room with you. And so all I've asked you to access is the presence of you in the body existing. And you felt it, this still, silent, energetic presence of life. But then when you relax your focus, put aside any thoughts, concepts, labels that I am this body, I live here, and I have this kind of life. Just put those stories and thoughts to the side and just focus on the energy of you and relax the focus. And where does the energy of you really end? Just within the confines of the body? Just within the confines of the skull? Or do you sense it is all around you as well? This has also been called consciousness, awareness. This has also been called universal consciousness. This sense of you being conscious of yourself, this energy of I am aware, and the peaceful presence of your existence is all the same thing. But is it really just within the confines of your body? So this is a direct experience. This is not an intellectual thing. If I were to take away your ability to think about this and analyze this, you would still be experiencing it. I'm just using words because I have to communicate. But this is all a felt, experienced, energetic thing. Maybe some of you have felt this before in meditation, yoga, in nature, in prayer, in church. Maybe for others, you've never experienced this before. And maybe others might say, well, there's a familiarity about it. This feels familiar. Yes? So this is just to show the nature of you and the energy of you is all around. But let's look at the nature of the person and how the human mind thinks. And so this is the part that I want to show you. Is there free will or not? So in order to have free will, as in every individual has free will, there has to be individual persons, right? So in our society, there is the belief in the person, in the me. So there's a physical body here, but there's the belief that there's a person in there. And it feels like I am in here, right? So an example of what the person actually is if, God forbid, you found yourself in front of a judge and they said to you, Mr. or Mrs. Smith, or whatever your last name is, because you should have had better thoughts and made different decisions with the thoughts in your brain. Instead, you did this. You had these kinds of thoughts and you did this crime. We're going to take you to jail. And what happens is a bailiff comes and takes a physical body to jail. But who was the judge really talking to? Just a physical body? No. The judge was talking to the person inside the body that supposedly created those thoughts, thought those thoughts, chose those thoughts, and made that body pull that crime. So hopefully that helps you to understand what I mean when I say person, when I say me, yes? So there's a physical body here, but there's the belief in our human culture of there's a person here that's deciding to do all these things that makes the body do things. So therefore you believe that I am in here and I control my decisions and just thus the destiny of this body, of my story. I choose who I married. I choose what kind of job I have, where I live, right? So let's look at the nature of this person. So close your eyes. Still feeling the presence of universal energy inside you, yes, in your consciousness, yes. That peaceful, still, silent presence, yes. So I'm going to give your mind an instruction, a really simple one. And let's look at the nature of the person after I give the instruction. And the instruction is think of a tree, any kind of tree. Got it there? And so when I gave your mind the instruction, followed the instruction, image of a tree appeared. But did you see a little you in the consciousness there, manufacturing that thought, creating that thought, picking that thought out of a bunch of thoughts? Or was it that your mind heard the instruction and the image of a tree appeared in your consciousness? Did you see a little you in there, like that movie Inside Out with all the little people controlling all the thoughts in there? Is that what you saw in there? Or was it just you felt the vast space of your consciousness and the image appeared when your mind followed the instruction? All right? So what are we saying here? What we're saying here is the individual, the person, is an illusion. It doesn't really exist. There's the feeling or a semblance of a person in here, but that's it. It's like an appearance of a person, a feeling like there's a person in here, but it's not a real solid thing. Another example to show you what I'm talking about here is you know the biology of the human body, hopefully. So if you really believe you're in that body, from your feet all the way up, scan the human body, your body all the way up, and ask you, well, if I'm really in this body, where am I? And just scan up. You have your feet, your bones, your muscles, joints, connective tissue, veins, arteries. Then sometimes people say, well, I feel like I'm in my gut. Well, okay, you know the biology of the human body. You have organs, your stomach, large intestines, small intestines, kidneys. And then sometimes people say, well, I feel like I'm in my heart, my chest. Okay, you know the biology, what's there. You have the organ of the heart with its four chambers and it's pumping away and the ventricles and stuff. And then finally people say, well, okay, I feel like I'm in my head. I feel like I'm right between my ears and behind my eyes. In an interview with a neurologist, they said, we've mapped out every part of the human brain and we know which part of the brain controls which part of the body, but we cannot find the person. We cannot find where in the brain is that sense of me created. Why? Because it doesn't exist. So there's another way that I'm trying to show that the person is an illusion. Now, I was saying this to one lady and she started to get mad and said, but I feel like I'm in here. And she's really starting to get, and started to slam her fist down on the table. And I said, well, what do you feel? Just relax and close your eyes. You have what makes up you in that body. You have thoughts of you, your story. I was born on this date. I live in this country. I have this many kids, or I don't. I do this for a job, or I'm having, your whole story comes out. I love tomatoes. I hate football. It's a story, right? That's the story of you. Those are thoughts. And along with those thoughts, the physical body has feelings or sensations that run through the body that come and go. Those are feelings. So you have thoughts and feelings. And then depending on what happens to you in the body and the story, your muscles clench. You feel like you're clenching in there, like the body's trying to protect something inside. Yes. So you have thoughts, you have feelings, you have the physical body with its muscles clenching in and out. Do any of those separate things constitute irrefutable proof that there is a real solid person in there? Or does the mind take all that, form an amalgam, and calls it me? You see, the person is an illusion. It's not a mistake. The mind creates it. It's even already been proven in neuroscience. There's a video floating around on Vimeo that I will try to put the link in if I can find it in this video here of a reporter who goes through a machine in which they're able to scan his brain. And they basically told him to make a very simple decision. Either press the left button or the right button, the left button or the right button. Try to do it randomly. And when he was done and he came out, they said to him, by measuring the sensations in the brain, we actually knew the electrical impulses in the brain. We actually knew a full 6 seconds before you did that you were going to press which button because of the areas of the brain that would light up. They knew 6 seconds before he actually pressed it which button he was going to press. And so it's the brain that's doing everything. And when the reporter heard this, he said, well, that's scary. That means the brain is going to do things that I don't want it to do. And then the researcher said, no, it's not like that. You're thinking in a duality. So the brain makes the decision. And then finally, the brain creates a thought that says, I'm scared that my brain is going to do something without me. That's just another thought. It's another functioning of the brain. So the person is just another functioning of the brain. It's the way the human body works. This is what has been developed in human brains over evolution, this strong, real sense of the person. There are probably other animals on this planet, maybe like dogs or something, that have this sense of a self in there, but not as fully formed out as a person. I mean, as a human person, you have dogs really had a strong sense of themselves like a human person did, then maybe they might have their own religions and start arguing with each other or something like that. But only in human bodies they had this sense of a person. What are we saying here? It's an illusion. Okay. The reason I'm showing you this is, again, to show you that there is really actually nothing outside of God's will. Even when it feels like you're doing something wrong, you're not. And what is it? When you feel like you're doing something wrong, the word feel is the important word there. It just feels like it. Like it feels like you're in there. Okay. This is to show you, like I said, in a way, we are always doing God's will. But do you want your ego to be in resistance to that? Because when your ego is in resistance to God's will, that's usually when the ego or the person suffers. And so when you resolve these unresolved emotions of the ego, you're more in alignment, you flow more, there's more acceptance of what's happening in your life. You're not really vested in the outcome. You become more what I call emotionally neutral. You're not trying to control the outcome because your ego is not trying to control the show in there anymore. When you do emotional resolution work like the meditations in this account, it deflates the energy of the ego and you just are in more in alignment with this. Yes, even if it feels like you're struggling against the current, that's still the energy of God doing it in there. It's just a feeling, right? Even when it looks like you're flowing against the current and you're suffering, it's still just a feeling of a person suffering in there. Everything is actually the will of God or the will of the universe. Why? Because that's all there is. There are no real separate individuals with free will. There is just the feeling or a semblance of a person. Now, I should say this. This is just for the purpose of this meditation. I would not start going around to my relatives or worse, when you get into a fight with your wife, say something like, well, I didn't really say that because this guy on this video said I'm not really here, so I'm leaving now. or something like that. This doesn't really, it's interesting because our human society is designed for separate individual egos, even though they don't exist and stuff. But I would not start, like, if you get arrested or something like that and you go before a judge, I wouldn't suggest going, Your Honor, I didn't really make that decision to pull that crime because I don't really exist, so I'm going to go now. Because I'm pretty sure the judge will say, okay, good, then you don't exist, then I don't exist when I'm doing this. Bailiff, take him and throw him in jail. This is just for the purpose of your own spiritual growth and development. It's just, I did have one person that told me, Mike, you told me not to say that, and I said it to my relatives at Thanksgiving in front of everyone. And I was like, oh, what did they say? You were right. They all thought I was crazy and they told me to shut up. So again, this is only for the purpose of your own spiritual development and maybe to help you understand the nature of what's happening here.